Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Brett. This is my beater Trans Am. In this video, we're just going to go over more in depth of kind of the build on this thing, and we're going to figure out how much money I have in this thing. I'm curious. I've never added it up over the course of owning it. I've owned it about a year. First things first, I bought it pretty much built already. A friend of mine bought it built, then it sat for a while. He ended up buying a new Supra and he never drove it, so it just sat there. And I was joking with him one day. I was like, hey, if you want to sell that Trans Am, just let me know, dude. And he's like, honestly, I'm thinking about selling it. And I was like, well, when can I come look at it? So I went over there and looked at it, and man, it was rough. Bad tires all around from sitting, you know, dry rotted tires, bunch of flat spots on the tires. We put a new battery in it, got it running surprisingly, and then we're like, well, let's take it for a little drive, you know. So we putted it around about 30 miles an hour and got back. I got under it, I was looking at it, and I'm like, man, this thing's been sitting a long time. I don't know what I'm really getting into, really. It was kind of an unknown buy. He didn't really know too much about it because he bought it so long ago and never had the rundown on it. And so he just wanted it gone. He was tired of seeing it sitting, so I threw him an offer. I was like, man, there's so much unknown of it that it scares me to, you know, give you what I really think it's worth. And he understood, and we agreed on a price. Long story short, I ended up paying $6,000 for the car. And since then I've put, I don't know, we're about to add it up and see how much I've put in it. I know it's probably 5, 6, 7 grand on top of what I paid for the car. But anyways, it's a 01 WS6. You know, Trans Am's got the ram air hood. It does have a 6.0 iron block in it with forged pistons, rods, crank. It's got a cam in it. I don't know the specs of the cam. It's got a headers to a Y pipe with a muffler out the back. I don't know what brand muffler it is, but I know it's been cut and modified and plugged up, so it sounds pretty good. So the first thing, I putted it home doing like 30, 35 miles an hour because the tires had flat spots all around them. It was like, I'm like, man, I hope that's not the drivetrain, you know. I'm like, it's probably just them tires. So got it home, cleaned it up, spent a whole day cleaning it. And the outside had like tree sap all over it from sitting under like a pine tree, and inside had like rat's nest in it, and it was just filthy, man. So I stripped it all down, cleaned it up. Like I said, that took all day. Ended up turning out pretty good, and then that's when the shopping started. I was like, well, let's get some new tires, right? But it had some torque thrust, like American racing wheels on it, like some 18s all around, really wide setup on it, like 9s on the front, 10.5 or 11s on the rear, something really wide. And I was like, well, probably gonna do more street racing or take it to the drag strip. You know, I'm not gonna drive it every day. So that's when I got online, started shopping, look up weld RTs, you know, B-locks, all this stuff, and I came across these Ford Star wheels, priced very well. I went with the 15 by 10 on the back, and then there's a 17 by 4.5 on the front with skinny on it. Got me some Mickey Thompson Sportsman front runners, and some ET Street R 275 by 60 15s on the back, and that's what started it. So let's see how much I paid for all those. I got all my receipts still. So we are at the 2 front tires were 637/38, and I'll probably pop this up on the screen for you guys. So the front tires are $640 pretty much. The rear tires were $331.50 a piece, so that's like $660 a piece. So we're talking $1,200-1,300 just in tires right off the bat. Bam. So we're at like $7,200 off the bat that I'm in this car already. And then let me see if I have the receipts for the wheels. The wheels, the front wheel or the rear wheels, 15x10, two 15x10 wheels, no beadlock, just standard. Those were $320 each, total of $640, and then after tax it was $693.44. So what is that? We're at like $2,000 now. I'm into it. And then the front wheels were $290 each. Like I said, they're 17x4.5. They're D5 front runners, Ford Stars. That came to $630, so we're at like $2,600. So already I'm at $6,000 buying the car plus $2,600. What are we at there? Like, I don't even know. I'm so bad at math. 6 to 26, so like $8,600. Bam, just like that. Just getting the car home. Yeah, I could have went and got some different cheap tires, but buy once, cry once, be done with it. I was gonna put a drag pack on it to begin with, so let's just do it now, right? So we're at $8,600 already, right? So then I'm like, man, we need to change all these fluids. So change the fluids, change the oil, all that. And man, this thing is running really rough. Check engine lights on. So I call a local tuner, right? Call him up. He's like, yeah, no problem, just bring it by. So I pull up at his house. He's looking at the car, you know. He's like, man, I had a car identical to this probably 5-6 years ago. I'm like, really? He's like, did you just put them wheels on? I said, yeah. He's like, was there some chrome torque thrust wheels on them on this car when you got it? I said, yeah. He's like, pop the hood. So he pops the hood, he's looking it over, he's like, looks inside, he's like, this is my old car. He said, I built this car. Well, I'm like, this is crazy because I want to know more about the car that I bought. You know, I kind of bought it not knowing too much about it. So he gave me the full rundown on it. Like I said, he put a 6.0 iron block in it. It's got electric water pump, fast 92 intake. It had this gray one on it when I bought it. We'll get to that. It's got Mike Lau built heads, built 4L60 with a converter. I think it's like a 3600 stall. What else? It had just 10 bolt with some goodies and a cover, pretty much like a built 10 bolt. He's like, yeah, this used to be a stick car. So it was a stick car at one time. He ended up putting the auto in it. He said the best he had it down a quarter mile was 10 or 1020 on 100 or 150 shot. So it does have nitrous, got a wet kit on it. It's got a fuel tank in the front under the hood. I'll show you, I'll do a walk around all over once we get the basic rundown. So you put 110 in the hood, the bottle's in the back. As it's spraying nitrous, it's spraying fuel also. They call it the wet shot. So yeah, so we get the wheels, we get it tuned up, you know, we're driving all around, and he's like, man, I'm having trouble tuning this thing, you know. He's like, numbers are all over. So he's like, I know that fast 92 on the bottom of it, like 5 years ago, it had a crack in it. So he or somebody ended up epoxying it. So I'll show you right here. You could see this here. See this right here? This is like some epoxy sealant, almost like Flex Seal. So it re-cracked, right? He's like, you can either try and seal it back up or get a new one. And I'm like, well, you know what? I really don't want to have to take it on and off and reseal it every couple of years or whatever. You know, I don't really like that hack stuff. So I was like, price me a new one. Well, the new one ended up being, let me see here, I got a picture of it. New LS Fast 92 intake manifold was $1163.95. So I said, just order it. So he ordered it, came in. Me and my brother threw it on in the garage. This was before I did YouTube, or I would have filmed it. So we threw that on, checked all the spark plugs, see if they were good, took it back to him, you know, put some fresh 93 in it, and finally got it tuned. So everything's running great. You know, driving around, making hits. Took it to the track. It did, let me grab the time sheet and stuff. Ended up the second time after I got that intake and spark plug and everything, we actually dyno tuned it. And this is with the 10 bolt rear end with 342 gears on this wheel and tire setup. It put down, here's the sheet right here. It put down 606 torque. And this is with the 100 shot. So 606 torque and 580 horsepower. So I was like, wow, that's not bad, you know, for just a 100 shot. And then that was with the 342s and 10 bolt. So yeah, so I was like, a couple weekends later, I was like, oh, let's take it to the track. You know, my best time at the track, this is 8th mile. 8th mile, I don't have a trans brake. I'm foot braking it, you know, leaving at like 3,000 RPM. It did a best that night. Like I said, this with a 10 bolt, 342 gears on a 100 shot. It did 699 at 97 miles an hour. So did the math on that online on the calculator. For a lot of guys, they don't know 8th mile, you know, so convert it over to quarter mile, it's like a 1087. I was like, wow, that ain't bad, you know. I got like, let me see again, what we at, 8,600 plus that intake and tune. We were like 8,800, no, 8,600, 9,800 plus a tune. I'm at like 10 grand, right? 10 grand in this car, and it's a 10-second car technically, right? So 690 in the 8th, like I said, 1087 in the quarter, rough estimate. So I was like, wow, you can't beat that. You know, I got a 10-second car for 10 grand, you know? So yeah, we played around with that, and I'm doing more stuff to it. Threw some Kenwood speakers in the front. They're 75 bucks just because they're blown. What else did we do to it? Threw, he's like, you should put a catch can on. I went on Amazon, $30 catch can. So yeah, a couple months later, driving around and I hear a clunk, and I'm like, the drive shaft? I'm like, I don't know. So we're cruising down the highway. I'm doing like 80, and I'm like, man, either this road's really bad, or I got a bad tire, or something's going bad in the rear end drive shaft. So cruising, I'm actually on they call it a power tour around here. Once a year they get all the cars, like everybody from around, I'm talking probably 1,000 cars. They just drive around to each of these spots and hang out and stuff. So driving to the next location on the highway doing like 80, and I'm feeling clunk, and I'm like Ashley, this don't feel good. So pulling off the highway, going down the exit ramp, and it's a hear a clunk, and I'm like, ugh. Slowing down some more to the stoplight, clunk, and I'm like, oh no, that wasn't the road I was feeling. So got off the highway, pulling in. As I'm pulling into the gas station, man, it goes bam, bam, and just the car shuts off, and I'm like, what the heck, dude? So literally in the middle of this gas station parking lot, and I look in my rearview mirror, and there's a puddle, like a stream of fluid. I get out, look under the car, it's just leaking fluid out there, 10 bolt. So I'm like, well, there goes that. You know, I was kind of expecting, that's probably the next weakest link, right? So anyways, I'm calling my dad. I'm like, you want me to call a tow truck, or you free to bring the trailer? So he brings his enclosed trailer with a winch, and you know, there's a bunch of cars there for, like I said, the meet, and they're just hanging out, and they're all looking at me like I got 6 heads. Like, what's this guy doing? He's in the middle of the parking lot. There's fluid 100 foot behind his car. So he pulls up with a truck and trailer, and the rear end is straight locked. Like, it will not move. So he gets a jack out. We jack the rear up. Everybody's looking at me. I'm like, guys, you know help me push this into the trailer? So get the winch hooked up, and it was a nightmare. It probably took us 45 minutes just to get this thing in the trailer. Finally, we get it in the trailer, and it stays in there for about a week. So I call my tuner. You know, he's the one that originally built the car. He knows a lot about cars. I'm like, you know, what would you do? I want to just do it once, be done with it. I want like one of the baddest rear ends you can get. And he's like, well, you can go with a 9-inch, you know, but they're pretty noisy. There's a lot of complaints about, you know, driving around the street and just the noise and the clunkiness. And I'm like, well, what's the other option? He's like, well, you can go with the Strange S60. He's like, it's like a 9.5 technically. It's actually a little bit stronger than the 9-inch. A lot of people don't know that. He said it's a little bit stronger. Might be a little bit more money, but you're probably never gonna break this rear end. He's like, there's the same car out there, 2,000 horsepower, just rip after rip, and they're just holding up. And he's like, they're way more quieter, way more street friendly. I said, all right, well, if this was your car again, spec me out what you would get, and let's go from there. So a day or two later, he gets back with me with the bill. He's like, Brett, we'll go with this, you know, we'll go with 35 spline axles. He's like, I would run like a 430 gear. And I was like, 430 gear, dude? I'm like, I'm trying to drive this on the street, you know, a lot. He's like, well, you can go 410 or 430. He said, flip a coin. Well, I flipped a coin. I really didn't. I was like, I'm just gonna go 410. So got 410s. Here's the rundown on that. I got the receipt on that. So 35 Pro Race axles. This is all from, who was this from? I want to say it was from Trick Chassis. Ended up having to call them and order it. They're super cool over there. Called them up, told them what I wanted, you know. Got 35 Pro Race axles, stock width, you know, just stock width rear end. I got 35 spline helical cut gear differentials. That was an extra 530 bucks. I went with the 410 gears. I went with Strange billet GM housing in, so you can still run the stock brakes on it. No ABS, stock wheel studs. Had it powder coated black for 160 bucks, so it doesn't rust. Got, and also what I really liked was I could order the matching drive shaft with the rear end. You just tell them what trans you want or have. So ended up doing that, and the drive shaft was only 360 bucks, right? It's a chrome alley drive shaft, 3-inch with HD trans yoke, just 1350 ends. And like I said, that was 360 bucks. So I like that. I ordered the rear end, the drive shaft, pretty much everything. Had it shipped to a local buddy's shop. Saved you some money. If you ship it to your house, it's an extra like 200 bucks because there's no dock and stuff. So if you know someone with a dock, it's only 200 bucks to ship it instead of like 400. So had it shipped there. We loaded in his truck, brought it over here, and everything was there. Drive shaft, rear end, everything. So I've never done it before. Read the instructions, put it all together, and yeah, we ripped the old one out one night. Took us like 2-3 hours, and everything's rusted and just bad, and loosened the brake lines. You know, had to jag it all up on the ground and everything, so I don't have a lift. And so the next evening we put that rear end all together, get it up, slid up under the car, put it in the car. So it took us like, probably honestly, just to be safe, probably let's just say 6-8 hours. And me and my brother are not mechanics. We do, let's just say, blue collar work, you know, Monday through Friday. So we are not mechanics. We do not work on cars all the time, but we know how to work on cars. It just takes us longer than like a typical mechanic. So we get that in there. And yeah, we broke it in for a little bit, drove around for like 10 miles and called my tuner and was like, hey, what's the break-in on this? He's like, well, just go drive in circles in a parking lot for a little bit. And I was like, seriously? He's like, yeah, just go drive in circles in a parking lot and, you know, get the fluid all swished around in there and then just start romping it. So that's what we did. We drove around for a little bit, putted it around, and I couldn't help myself, dude. With these new 410s, I just started romping it, dude. Started romping it. I'm like, man, these 410s really woke this car up. So I haven't been back to the track since. I would assume it would pick up a lot now with the 410 gears. Like I said, it did a 690 with 342 gears and a 10 bolt. So haven't been to the track yet, but I'm hoping for like maybe 670 eighth miles. That'd be sweet. Pick up 210s. Another thing is I changed the 100 shot jets over to 150. So that should honestly pick up some too, you know. So yeah, so we were at like 10 grand, got the rear end out the door to your house with the drive shaft ready to go. Even came with fluid, was 3672. So we're at 10 plus 3600, let's just say all in, tuning, fluids, fuel. We're at like 14,000, right? So I'm at like 14,000 now in this car. And what else have I done to it? Ended up putting a trans temp gauge on it. So put trans temp gauge on it. Had a buddy weld in a bung on the trans and trans pan and all that. Put the sensors in. That was $55 for the gauge. So we're talking another $100, like 14.1. What else did I do? Talked about that. Yeah, so anyways, they're like 15,000 in this car now. So it started out with buying a $6,000 car. Here I am, $9,000 later in parts. And I like to think I got a smoking deal on this car already. So, I mean, could you imagine if I would have paid 10? You know, without knowing anything about it, and I would be at 19,000 then. So I'm glad my buddy understood where I was coming from and accepted the 6 and all that. So like I said, we're at 15 grand in this car, and knock on wood, it's been very reliable. Every time I get it out, just cruise around, I just beat on it. Future plans, I don't really know. We'll see. Anyways, we can do more of a, I guess we'll go ahead and do a walk around of it now. Ended up getting, it had line lock on it already, but it wasn't working. So I traced it down, figured out a couple wires weren't hooked up. Couldn't find the button inside, you know, for the line lock or switch. So started taking apart the center console. I called the tuner. He's like, yeah, it had line lock when it was a stick car, but it was the button was on the manual shifter, you know. So I guess when I auto swapped it, I never hooked it back up. So took the center console shifter, all that apart, and found the wires, right? So put in a switch, put in a button, all that. Yeah, so let's give you a walk around this thing. Here's the car. Pretty clean. It's got a crack here in the fender. There's the wheels. Ended up doing some new brake pads. Had one caliper sticking. Here's another bad spot here, but other than that, it's a pretty clean car for being like 23, 24 years old now. So popped the trunk. Ended up taking the seats out. It had a sub in it. Took the sub out. Put this block off can in. Haven't finished that yet. Just kind of set it in there. My plan is to put my battery back here with a kill switch. Yeah, I think that's about it for now. Took the seats out, took the sub out, all that stuff out. Ended up saving, I weighed it all, it was like 65 pounds or something. I was like, that ain't bad, you know. Here's the bottle. I don't like where it's at. I know it's hidden, but I'm gonna put it back there probably with another bottle. Do a 2-bottle setup. What else do we got? Here's the other side. This side's not bad. Another spot on the thing here, but here's the door panels. They're pretty rough. Somebody tried to paint them black. They were originally tan. Here's the seat. Seat's pretty bad. Another thing was, when I got the car, the seat was scooted up really far up, and it was stuck there. So when I got the car, I drove it home. I was like driving like this. So I had my buddy who's an electrician come over, and we kind of just hot wired it, scooted back to where I wanted it, and that's where it stays now. Eventually gonna get some new seats and stuff, but air fuel gauge. Here's that trans stamp gauge. Here's the inside. It's got a Kenwood screen in it. I really never listened to the radio or anything, but got bottle heater here. Nitrous purge. It also didn't have a purge on the nitrous, so that was kind of whack. Put a purge on it. It purges right out the top. This is the power for the fuel pump up under the hood for the 110. So you turn that on, turn your bottle heater on, you know, make sure your bottle's good, purge it up, and yeah, so if you turn that power on, it'll give power to that fuel pump up under there in that 110 tank and spray the fuel with the nitrous. So ended up getting all that nice and not really nice, but here's my line lock. I flip it up and then do my burnout, and then as soon as I'm done, I can just go like this, bam, and it kills it. So that's honestly really nice. Line lock works great. The seat's not too bad. I'm gonna redo something with this carpet. I'm not really sure, but pop the hood now. I want to get carbon fiber door panels, you know, kind of probably go full-blown drag car on this if I end up keeping it. We'll see. You know, gut the interior. I want to, me and my brother, throw a cage in, you know, do the floor, do the seats, do the harnesses, you know, but we will be doing that on this channel. I don't know how soon that stuff will get done. We're talking probably, honestly, let's just say $2,000 max. I could probably have that interior the way I want it. Door panels, cage, you know, seats, harnesses, move the bottle, move the battery, probably all that like $2,000. But my son finally did arrive. He was born 4 days ago, so I've been dealing with that. Figured this would be an easy YouTube video I could get up for you guys, and a lot of you guys are wondering about the car more in depth. All you guys really see it on the channel, and if you're new here, you probably don't know too much about it, but yeah, here it is. Here's the new Fast. Went with the black one this time. The gray one's over there. Broken one. It does have, the tuner said it does have like a $500-600 electric water pump on it, which is nice. Here's that catch can I showed you guys. This one's chrome. I can only find a picture of the black one, but I threw that on. It's got a breather here. Put a little sticker on top. Here's the solenoid and stuff for the purge. I routed all that. I wanted it to come out maybe the nostrils, but I don't know. It was just gonna be a pain to kind of route it this way and then like up through here, and every time you open your hood, I don't know. I just didn't really feel like diving into it and figuring out a way. So yeah, here's the 110 tank here. All the fuel lines and stuff. It sprays. Here's the solenoid. Sprays right into here. Nitrous comes on this side. Spray at the same time. And yeah, so the fuel sprays, the nitrous sprays, and you go fast. So it really wakes this car up like a lot. Like it's insane how much even just a hunter shot woke it up. Yeah, so what else do we have here? I think that's pretty much it. It's got tubular front end. It's hard to see down there, but it's UMI tubular front end control arms. Let's see if I can get a better angle. You see all the red, that's UMI, all tubular front end, K-member, control arms. Let me see if I can get a up underneath for you guys. Really hard to tell, but there's the Strange S60. Hard to tell. Some more suspension goodies. Oh, another thing, it does have strange front and rear shocks, coilovers. The fronts are blown, they need recharged, and see if that fixes them. But yeah, they are single adjustable. I don't know if I can get up in here at all, but just trust me. They're single adjustable front and rear. That's another thing I probably plan on changing, doing like a probably double adjustable, either Viking or Strange or whatever. I don't know. I like to do research on stuff before I just buy it, get feedback from other people on stuff. You know, easy to install, or do they work good? Are they easy to adjust? Stuff like that. So that's another thing I'll have to look into down the line. The fronts are so blown now, so it's actually not bad. You just floor it and it just, you know, squats real good in the back. Front lifts up and you're scooting and booting. Yeah, I will. Let's fire it up and get it out. Oh yeah, guys. By the way, the prototype t-shirts finally came in. This is just an idea. I want to get you guys' opinions on them before I do like a mass order of them. The material it came on, I'm not a fan of. It's more like silky. I'm not a huge silky t-shirt type guy, but here's the shirts. This is just the first ever shirt for the channel. It's just pretty much what you guys seen in the video, just in like more of a cartoon type logo. So it's Trans Am in the garage, you know, with the cool lights and the beater Trans Am, you know, that's what I call it. Here's the front, just B3 boys. It's just an idea. So I'm gonna take this, get your guys' opinions on them, and probably tweak a few things on them, get a different material, stuff like that. I'm gonna talk to a local shop around here, kind of keep them priced reasonably for you guys. But then again, I don't want to be selling junk, so the price is going to be the price. What I feel is reasonable. You know, it's not going to be a $15 shirt. You want a $15 shirt, you're not going to get it from me, because it's just going to be junk. I don't want to sell junk. I'm hoping to keep them, you know, 25, 30, 35 max, you know, and with the 35 price tag, maybe throw in a koozie, some stickers and stuff, just so I don't feel as bad for selling you guys a $35 shirt. I think it's ridiculous, but got to figure in shipping. Hopefully have my wife be packing them while I'm at work, because she's gonna be staying home now, so you know, gotta pay her something. And yeah, I don't want to be selling you guys junk. So here's the shirts. Let me know what you guys think. Yeah, so, let me get this thing pulled out for you guys, kind of give you an idle walk around and go from there. sounds good. Sounds really good. It's really quiet at the front, but at the back it's pretty quiet too, honestly. It's awesome for the street. It's got a little rasp to it, but here it is in the sunlight. So yeah, there's the car. There is a more in-depth video and build of the car. Got a lot of future plans with the car, from interior. I don't know if we keep the nitrous or not, but let me back this thing in and shut it off so I can talk to you guys better. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so I got a lot of plans with it. Probably do some street racing. If you haven't seen my last video, I just dropped it. It's a little bit of street racing, nothing crazy. Couple runs on the way to a car show. Raced a Supercharged Camaro. He was having clutch issues, and yeah, so hopefully he gets some clutch issues figured out and we will run them back. He says his car makes like 480 on motor. This thing makes like 460, 470. So it should be a good run. His is a stick car though. I'm a built 4L60 auto, and yeah, it'll be fun. Win or lose, I'll post it up. Just gonna be finding time now, you know. Got my hands full with the newborn, so up every hour, every 2 hours in the night, you know. I wanted to get out here, do a more in-depth video on the car and future plans. I don't know, do you guys wanna see me keep it as a nitrous car, or should we go boost? I've never had a turbo car. I've never had like a Whipple car. I had a big ProCharge. It was an F1A blower on my C6 Corvette, and I like the ProCharger, but budget wise it's probably the more expensive route. I think it was like 13 grand. It was like 8 or 9 grand for the blower kit, and then all said and done, installed, fuel this, fuel that, it was like 13 grand. So I feel like that's on the top end of going boost price wise. So I probably will not consider that. I want to say I want to go Whipple or LSA, just because you slap it on, I'll probably be 6-7 grand, maybe 8 grand max with the fuel system and injectors, and you can buy the LSA kit, ship it to your house, bolt it all on in this garage, and then it's just way more simpler. Or do I send my intake off and send my intake to fast, have them convert it over to direct port and throw like a 300 shot at this thing? I don't know. You know, they'll have to drill out the intake, put in the different nozzles, stuff like that, because anything over a 200 on not a direct injection is kind of wasteful. They just doesn't, the nitrous doesn't distribute evenly in that intake, so that's why you go direct port. Everything is distributed evenly, and each cylinder will get the same amount of nitrous as, you know, they all will be even across the board. So that will be, that's an option. Throw like a 300 shot at it and blow it up. No, I'm just kidding. But, or we take all the nitrous stuff off and go LSA supercharger and just be rowdy all the time. Don't gotta fill bottles. I'm already tired of filling bottles, and I've only filled them a couple times just because it's such a pain. Drive like 30 minutes to go fill them, 30 minutes back. I'm kind of over it, but the car came that way, so it is what it is. I would probably never, I don't know, I don't want to say I'd never build a nitrous car, because you can build them cheaper than anything else, in my opinion. So I'm leaning towards LSA blower. I think it would be kind of cool. Either I'd like to throw the Ram Air cowl hood on. I think them look sick, and if not, do something a little different. If it's too tall, just cut this out, just because I don't care. And yeah, so let me know what you guys want to see. Let me know what you guys think of the t-shirts, and if you like them, I'll order a lot, but I'm not gonna order a lot until I get some feedback on them. So if you like that stuff, we'll roll out that, and then we can talk about hats, koozies, keychain, stickers. What do you guys want? I mean, I think eventually it'd be cool to blow up and get big enough. We'll give this car away to one of you guys. I'd hate to see it go, but you know, that's part of growing. You gotta do stuff you're not comfortable with. So anyways, I'm gonna edit this, and yeah, I don't think I've missed anything. Let me know what you think of the t-shirts. If you haven't seen my last video, running on the street, it's titled I raced a Supercharged Camaro. And yeah, other than that, I'm gonna try and keep pumping them out. My goal is to post a video once a week, and I have been doing that, so I want to keep that up. And yeah, we will keep that up. I kind of want to post this sooner though. I just posted one Friday. Today is Saturday, but I don't know. I want to pump out a lot of content. I like making videos. It's just finding stuff to video, really. It's still kind of hot here in the Midwest. We're here in Missouri. It's like 95 today. Yeah, I'd love to have all the money in the world, film all the videos in the world, just building this thing for you guys, you know, but gotta take it slow. Can't blow my bank account with a newborn on a car. So anyways, we'll get there, guys. If you guys like this video, hit that like button. Subscribe if you aren't subscribed. If you like this type of videos, I'm not making you. If you don't like them, that's fine. You don't have to subscribe. Drop a comment. Let me know on the shirts. Let me know if you like this video. Let me know, should we go Whipple? Keep the nitrous. If you have any questions on the build, or if you're building an F-body, I'll gladly try and answer them for you, or give you my perspective or opinions on things. Be brutally honest with all you guys on everything, because that's just the way I am, really. I'm not gonna lie about a product. Even if somebody shipped me some wheels and we're like, yo, these are free, can you make a video on it? I'll just be honest with them. Like, I'll make a video, but I'm gonna be honest. So I'm gonna tell you if they suck, I'm gonna tell you if they're heavy, I'm gonna tell you if it's a pain in the butt to install. So yeah, keep that in mind, and check out the other videos if you haven't, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace!